Let's talk spunding valves. You're going to need one in pressure fermentation. You also need one when you're doing pressure keg transfers. They're really handy to have for adjusting the pressure in the vessels that you're transferring to, or to hold pressure during fermentation. So we always have a whole bunch of different options here at Keg King. We've had these varieties with the brass tips and the spring-loaded poppet and the gauges for quite some time now. We also carry Trong's spunding valve, the Spundit, which is a fantastic spunding valve as well. But people really wanted something low profile, something that was cheap and affordable, where they could adjust pressure and not have it take up too much room. Something that was much more affordable without having to buy extra parts as well, like disconnects to go onto these kind of things. And so looking at a different price point, looking for options, we came up with the best one that we've known of, the Spundy. So the Spundy is 4.5 centimeters tall at its highest point here, which is going to give you really good height advantages for when you're putting your whole entire fermentation system into a small temperature chamber for, say, temperature controlled fermentation. Whereas these things, you have to kind of allow for the angle of the disconnect, or you get a 90-degree disconnect and put your spunding valves onto those MFL disconnects so that you can get the height clearance to get it into a small fridge. But Spundy is just too easy to operate. Now the gauge goes up to 30 psi on the display. The valve tip itself you can open to control whatever pressure you want to hold up to 30 psi. So that's almost 2 bar of pressure right there that you'll have the control with just this small little disconnect. Now the other thing we wanted to do with Spundy is to make it really, really easy to use. So instead of having to worry about pressure building up behind and setting this pressure before you have pressure in your vessel, we also wanted to be able to use Spundy with these PRVs. So if you wanted to just hold 10 psi and forget about having to set it, you could plug in the blue PRV or 15 psi, which is your purple PRV. And again, these are going to hold that pressure for you when you're doing your fermentation or doing your transfer. So with Spundy, you'll also be able to take the gauge off, which means that you can easily clean it should you get liquid up into this when you're doing keg transfers and other transfer processes under pressure. If you were to get liquid up into it, it's simple to take it apart and clean all these parts. You can get to every surface, very simple to clean, very easy to use. So in keg transferring, Spundy's just going to fit directly onto your keg's gas post. And when you transfer from the liquid side of things from your fermenter into the keg, you'll be able to hold pressure on your keg so that as it fills up, you don't lose carbonation. And what's great is a lot of us know that when we're filling with these spunding valves, sometimes there's the ability for liquid to get up into them, and they can be quite messy to have to clean out. Usually just simply using ethanol directly after you've got beer passing through it, so it doesn't get too sticky. You can fix these up pretty quickly, but still you're risking a nice bit of kit that way. Whereas Spundy's nice and affordable, and it's super easy to clean as well, should it get liquid up in it during your keg transfers. But you're good at keg transferring, you won't have that problem. So that's pretty much it with Spundy, a brand new device from Keg King, standing only 4.5 centimeters tall. It gives you really great height clearance for getting your pressure fermenters into small chambers for fermentation temperature control. It gives you the ability to adjust and set this gauge to whatever pressure you want between 0 and 30. And you can also simply just use it with the PRVs that are already preset for 15 or for 10 psi. So the Spundy, we hope you like them. Thanks for watching, brewers.